Hi all, this is Dr. J at 11, streaming live, coming to you live from Long Island, New York, where the weather was just fine, considering the wintry mix that we had yesterday. It all kind of disappeared by morning, which is a good thing about an early snow. It just goes away, or a late snow, it just goes away. The really bad ones are the ones that come just after Christmas, early January, that seem to never go away. You get the white stuff all winter long, ice and sleet and all that stuff. That's what we don't like. So we could tolerate a wintry mix pre-Thanksgiving Day, no problem. Though I did complain about it. I also am not complaining at all about the Dow, which I kind of nailed for Thursday and Friday. And what can I tell you? Sometimes I get it right, and sometimes I don't. I'm going to go immediately to the video charts. Do your own due diligence. My opinions are strictly my own and do not constitute investment advice. And of course, occasionally I do have good ideas, so follow at your own risk. So I'm going to go directly to the videotape, and let's see what we have on the day, for the week, etc. One of the main evidence that I noticed today of the bull returning is the action in the small biotechs. We actually had to bounce back. I'm wearing my jet hat because I figure if it vaxes, biopharmaceuticals could be up a nickel. The Jets might even win a game before the season is up. All right, let's continue on. By the way, please share the link, tell your friends about us, and be sure to follow me by subscribing to the channel. Write comments. I love comments. All right, so let's go to the Dow immediately. Okay, so the Dow Jones Industrial Averages show a series of lower highs and lower lows. And finally, we broke out of that series by forming a higher high on, instead of a lower high, we have a higher high on, where is this date? A higher high was on 11/8 of 26,200. And finally, we have a higher low, 11/15, which was yesterday, of 24,787. So we finally broke this downward trend of lower highs and lower lows by turning in a higher high and a higher low. So I can officially proclaim with much more confidence that the bull has returned and has been set free, and the matador better worry. Because once the bull is set free, the bull will roar. The bull will take out the 11/8 high, then it will take out the all-time high. How long? I don't know how long. It tends to go up much slower than it goes down, as you notice. So down is quick, up is a lot slower. So let's say by the end of November, we make a run on the high of 11/8, and that by the end of the year or mid-January, we take out the 10/3 high, all-time high on the Dow. Okay, so today was a particularly good day, not only for the Dow, but for the entire stock market. Why? Because we had some very negative tailwinds going into the day, especially the earnings release by NVIDIA. NVDA was off like 20% or so pre-market. And I don't know what it closed at. Sure, it wasn't down 20. Maybe it was down 12. But it set a negative tone. The futures were down a lot. I think the S&P futures were down about 20. That would translate to nearly 200 Dow points at the open. But that didn't happen. How did we open? We opened today slightly below where we were yesterday. Not a big deal. We dipped to a low today of 25,147. That's nothing. From the high yesterday, 25,354, it's a couple of hundred points, not even. So that's from the high. And we had a nice day. We were even higher than what we closed. We reached a high of 25.5, which is very nice, putting us only about 500 points away from the 11.8 high of 26,277, 700 points away. Okay, so we had the NVIDIA earnings to overcome. We always have fears of escalating trade wars with China. We always have fears that the Fed is going to raise and the Fed policy is going to put us into a recession. We always have fears, all kinds of fears. So the market is always climbing a wall of fear. The technology stocks had been severely beaten up. Well, one other tailwind was Facebook. Facebook and its ill repute, the Sheryl Sandberg, Mark Zuckerberg saga of Russia and Russian influence on Facebook continues. And Facebook was severely punished. I don't know how it ended up, but it's been really punished, partly because of its reputation, ill reputation. But I think it's other things. I think it's fundamentals. We don't want to go into why Facebook is being beaten down quite as much as it is. Probably overdone at this point. But anyway, we don't want to really talk about Facebook. I want to move on and talk about just show a picture of the Nasdaq. We have a similar situation as the Dow. Although the Nasdaq, you can argue, had put in, well, not really. It looks like a 1, 2, 3 correction, 1 up and a 2 down. So it looks like the bull is alive and well and entering a third leg of its upward trend, bouncing off the lows. The Nasdaq is bouncing off the lows of what have we? Why can't I get it? Because this draw thing is on. Okay, it's bouncing off the lows of 1029, 65.74 was the low, and it made a high on 11.7 of 72.05. I believe we're going to take that high out, just like we're going to take the high of the Dow the same day. And then around the same time as we eliminate the Dow high, we will take out the Nasdaq all-time high. So I think by sometime in January, the Dow makes new highs, the Nasdaq makes new highs. Everything, a lot of beaten up stocks in the Nasdaq were up today. I mentioned Advaxis Pharmaceuticals, other pharmaceuticals, ViewRay, which we mentioned yesterday, CVM, which we didn't mention yesterday. Others that we often talk about were all up today. So what I'm going to do is come in with a special report sometime later tonight on the biotechs, in particular the small caps, the Gerons, the Amerens, the ATNMs, and so on. Okay, so we're going to talk a lot about biotech later tonight. Meanwhile, this is further evidence that the bull is alive and well and that the bear market has ended. Amazon is a particular question mark. as is Apple, because the pattern, it looks like a 5 down. When you have a 5 down in Elliott wave theory, that's a sign of a market reversal, that in fact Amazon might be in a bear market. If it is, then this would be an ABC correction, and this would be the first leg down, and we'd have a leg up, and then a big leg down. So it is indeed possible that Amazon has further to shed. However, this is freaking Amazon. Come on. I mean, this is Jeff Bezos's company. This is the cloud computing company. This is the entertainment company. This is the wholesaler. This is the internet. Amazon is the internet. Amazon can't be in a bear market. I don't believe it. So I'm going to throw this chart out. I'm going to say, you can't believe everything you see. Seriously, there's different ways to interpret Elliott waves. So I would think that another interpretation would suit it better, and that Amazon will come roaring back, leading the Nasdaq to new all-time highs come middle of January. So I'm very bullish on Amazon, even though the chart is a question mark. I also have been selling some of my Amazon to buy Apple, but that's only because I just like Apple a little better. Let's take a look at Apple. Okay, Apple has gone down from its high on 10/3 of 233.47 to a low of 185.93. That's 1548 points. That's a pretty hefty correction. That's better than 20, around 20%, a little bit better. So officially, Apple is in a bear market officially, but it finally turned in a low 2 days ago, and I'm thinking this is it. I'm thinking it went a little bit past the 61.8% retrace from its low back in late April. I'm thinking it's enough. I'm thinking Apple bargain hunters will come in and bid this thing up, and I think Apple will be one of the market leaders that take, along with Amazon, that takes the Nasdaq to new all-time highs. The chart is a little iffy because, again, like Amazon, you could interpret it as being, I don't know, I guess you could interpret it as being 5 waves down. I really haven't looked at it that carefully, but I will feel better, truthfully, once we take out this low, this high. This high is 210.06 put in on 11.7. Once we take out that high, I will have little or no doubts that Apple will make new all-time highs. For my swing trade, I might not be so greedy. I might look for 217, 218, something like that. All right. What else? Nasdaq SPX. SPX put in what looks like a triple top right here. But the good news is on 11.8, it made a higher high than it did on 11.7 and a higher high than it did on 10.17. So we have a higher high, higher than the high on 10.17. So that technically is bullish. So we have broken the scheme of lower highs. We have higher high, a lower high, a lower high, another lower high, and a higher high, which is good. So now we also have a higher low that got turned in yesterday. So the S&P looking good, just like the Dow, the Nasdaq. I think all 3 markets will make new highs come, say, January, all-time highs. I look forward to little biotechs like Ameren and ViewRay playing catch-up. Today, Ameren played a little catch-up, up to 2.5%. But but it wasn't a very convincing. It was a low volume move, and for much of the day it was trading lower, only rallied at the end to kind of break even from the open. So, I mean, that's better than the other way around, which it did the day before, where we traded higher and closed lower. I prefer to see this kind of action. I also kind of like this low. The low of 2 days ago looks like a low that is a meaningful low, that it dipped considerably below the red candle from the day before, but yet turned out to be a doji, showing traders were trying to bid it lower, and there was a real tug of war, and it ended even. Next day, a green candle. The next day, a higher close than the day before. So I'm beginning to like the chart of Ameren. I know I said dead cat bounce, and it'll probably come back and fill this gap, and it still may do that. I'm not saying it won't, because there's enough. The bears managed to put enough doubt into the minds of Wall Street as to the validity of the 6-year study on their fish oil drug. So the question is that that the FDA has to determine is, did Ameren's control group that was taking a mineral placebo, did that contribute to their mortality during the study? Did that contribute to cardiac events during the study? Because those on the fish oil, the Vasepa, whatever it's called, had 25% fewer such events. Now, if in fact the control group was being poisoned, so to speak, and actually was hurt by taking the mineral oil, then that 25% is really not a true number. It may not be so significant at 18%, if that's the true number. So the FDA is going to decide this, and then Ameren will either zoom or bust. In the meanwhile, I kind of think it's not going to take out the old highs so easily, unless there's a takeover or there's some really positive news. I don't know what that would be, because both sides have presented their case, the bear case, the bull case. So from a fundamental point of view, I'm not so sure. The chart looks okay, but I have a big question mark on Ameren. I think there's better places to look at to put your money. I already sold half my position. I am going to let the other half ride. The gambler in me says, go for it, Dr. J. ViewRay. I do not own any ViewRay. One of my friends on YouTube asked me to analyze this stock. I looked at the chart the other day. I saw a nice engulfing, a positive bullish engulfing. So I pointed out that maybe this is an interesting play. And today, sure enough, it was up. It was up 4.65%. And had you gotten in at the open, still would have done okay. And it wouldn't have been up that much. Where's it going from here? Well, it's possible that it will fill this gap in a hurry, especially if the market catches fire, if the biotechs catch fire. What the heck is 785? It was there before. It was a lot higher. It was 1250. I don't know what the significant event was that caused it to gap down. It's maybe something to do with earnings. I don't think it's the fundamentals regarding the product that they sell, but I don't know enough about the fundamentals. The product being a high beam radiation device that has to do with magnetic resonance and so on, and MRI radiation for oncology use. And again, this is kind of an iffy thing. I'm not sure what caused this to decline, but the chart looks good enough to play it or to stay in it if you have a position, I think. Okay, so I think we went over just about everything. Ameren itself, we just talked about. ViewRay. Okay, so I think we're okay for now. I'm going to stop sharing. And I think the week in review, the week as a whole was quite good for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It marked a turnaround. And hi to those viewers that are still live with me. Anybody have anything to write in the chat? I'd be glad to answer, or better yet, leave it as a comment. So I think the week was very good for the bulls, very bad for the bears. I think the future looks bright unless there's some exogenous event that messes things up. Brexit seems to be a non-event. China, who knows, maybe we'll come to a deal. GDP looks okay. The economy looks okay. We're at full employment. I think it's battleships ahead for the Dow. All right, that's it for now. I'll see you later tonight with my special biotech review at the request of some of my friends on StockTwits. And it's been a while, so why not? We'll look at the biotechs together tonight. Hasta luego. Until then, see ya. Oh, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, please. Bye-bye.